And Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." What do these familiar statements mean? Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. First of all, it is important to understand that every authentic statement of Jesus is life-giving, life-transforming. Jesus isn't in the habit of placing burdens upon his followers, nor does he share with us profound statements that have no relevance to our daily lives. Jesus is in the habit of liberating us from the kingdom of this world and from its wisdom, and giving us a divine taste of the wisdom of the kingdom of God. The Beatitudes give us quite a taste of both the values and the rewards of God's kingdom. All of us can agree, I believe, that these aspirations, poverty of spirit, mourning, meekness, do not reflect the values of this world. I made an attempt to appropriate this wisdom from on high when I took the name of Doulos at the beginning of my ministry in 1973, to indicate my calling and my aspiration to become a servant. The Apostle Paul was a doulos of Christ. And more recently, I was ordained a deacon in this church. The Greek word for servant is also diakonos. The greatest among you will be your diakonos. And this remains my aspiration. But in our thinking, greatness and servanthood don't go hand in hand, nor do poverty of spirit or meekness or mourning go hand in hand with inheriting the earth, except for a plot of ground 6 feet deep. What have I learned so far in my ongoing quest to arrive at my destination of poverty of spirit, of mourning, of meekness, of servanthood, to arrive at the doorstep of the kingdom of heaven and to inherit the earth? And how can I equate servanthood to the world with greatness in the eyes of God, as in, the greatest among you will be your servant? I have always wanted to be a great person. Because of my vanity and my narcissism, I suppose, I plead guilty to possessing the garden variety of these mental states. Nothing diagnosable, mind you. I had polio as a child in the days when people died from that disease or spent the rest of their lives in an iron lung. So when I escaped unharmed, I suppose I had the infantile notion that I was destined to do something important with my life. I remember exactly where I was, walking along the south side of Castle Shannon Boulevard just before the bend, when I first heard of the contribution of Dr. Jonas Salk and his polio vaccine on April 12th, 1955. I rejoiced that a fellow Pittsburgher could make such a magnificent offering in the service of humanity. what could my great contribution be? That is why I wrote to a former president of the United States when I was in junior high school to inquire how I might become president. Why is that laughable? And I still remember the quizzical look on my mother's face when I came home from school one day with Mom standing in the doorway with an unopened letter in her hand with the return address embossed on the outside of the envelope, Harry Truman, Independence, Missouri. I was so meek about my quest for greatness that I hadn't told my parents that I had written to our former president. So the path of servanthood emerged as a perfect calling for me to combine meekness with grandiosity, to arrive at greatness through poverty of spirit, to make a contribution as a servant. And an obvious advantage to choosing this pathway to greatness is that there doesn't seem to be much anyone else had to beat out in my quest for stardom. Not much competition. There's plenty of room for all of us on this servant road to happy destiny. I am reminded of the statement of the college admissions director who reported on the results of his admissions questionnaire. Of the 1,000 or so students who applied to enter the freshman class, all but one answered the question, "Are you a leader or a follower?" by saying, "I am a leader." He eagerly admitted the one person who said he was a follower, because with that many leaders, he thought that he ought to have at least one follower. How do you see yourself? Are you a leader of men and women or a follower of Christ? Are you a captain of industry or a worker in the vineyard? Are you a household executive or a day laborer? Are you a master or a servant of humanity? In many cases, you can be doing the same job exactly, but with a different vision, a different allegiance, a different spirit. On this All Saints Sunday, I am naturally drawn to thinking about those who have gone before and those who will come after. All of us travelers on the broad highway, all of us saints or saints in formation. My immediate ancestors, one of whom is pictured below, have joined you in making such a wonderful contribution to my own life, a contribution of love and encouragement. Can you see yourself now as being a servant? If you can, you will find refreshment for your soul and transformation for your life. I am much closer now to the end of life than to the beginning. And I wonder what society at large will think of me when I'm gone and for how long. My answer is not much and not long. So I think it's best to cast my lot with God and God's promises. My allegiance to God is to the divine. I would like to have my name written in the book of life. I would like to inherit the earth and more fully enter the kingdom of heaven. That is a sustaining vision for me that inspires me on my way. And if this doesn't come to pass, then I am still today content and gratified. And as far as comfort is concerned, God in this parish supply all the comfort that I need. So you see, I have already reaped an abundant reward. So to the extent I am able, and to the extent you allow, I stick to my aspiration to become a servant. I am most happy when I can be of service. I love serving the residents of my sober living homes, and I love serving the people of this parish. This is my quest, and this is my destiny.